Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm going to show you like I got a new laptop from my employer, so I thought I'd have to set up that with Visual Studio Code and everything. So that's why I thought I'll make a video of how to install Visual Studio Code and set up Salesforce extensions in that. I have already made a previous video, but it has already installed version. So this video, this I thought anyway I'm installing. Let me also, like real time, I can show you how I installed, and that way you can, if you have any doubt, you can follow this to set up Salesforce IDE. Okay, as usual, let's go to Google and you get code.visualstudio.com. You go here, and based on your version of the operating system, or if you have Mac, you can download this. I have Windows, I'll go for system installer. I'll install it for all the users. Mine is 64-bit, so I'll download that. Download started. If not, you can follow this link, and let's wait for it to complete. Okay, this is done, and I'll open this one to install. Okay, so as usual, you know how to accept program files MS window. There is nothing to change here. Don't create a start menu, let it be there. Create a desktop icon because you would need it to open it as and when you want it. So rest everything is same, and install. So once this is done, we'll go ahead and install the Salesforce related extensions of the Visual Studio Code, so that you can connect to org and do the code deployment, and also refresh, retrieve from the source, and do the difference or anything. If you want to do the code difference or something like that, you can do. Okay, so this is done. Help improve use mobile. Okay, then these are all optional. If you want, you can do it. So the first step, so anyway, you might have seen in the previous video how to create the project, or a folder, and then from there how to do it. So in this video, I'll focus on how to set up Salesforce CLN. This is the one I was talking about. It has all the Salesforce related extensions which you need for Salesforce, development environment. If you want to use Visual Studio Code as your IDE. So once this is done, let's see, try to connect to an org, and let's see how it goes. Let's give it some time. It's installing. This you can see CLI. It's part of this package, Salesforce extension pack, and it also has Apex, Visual Force, and Lightning Web Components. Like basically, what are all the coding options you have in Salesforce? You have plugins or extensions for all such areas. So, and while this is going, let me search for a diff app. So this is also useful to compare with the one you have in your local repository, or you can say, or technically it is called working copy. You can connect it with this one. So what is this? Your agreed Salesforce section for Visual Code may collect usage information, user the crash reports, and okay, if you want, you can opt out. I'm not opting out. Let them collect. If there is any defect, they'll let themselves know before we let them know. So the diff is completed, and let's see how Salesforce extension pack is. It's still installing because it has almost 7 components. So once this is done, you can go, and this extension is enabled globally. Okay, this is also done. Great. Now let's go ahead and see if there is anything else needed. So I feel that's all. No default org set. Let me go ahead and set. So this is the main thing, command palette. So you can see once you have installed Salesforce extension pack, no default org setup is there. So you have not created any working copy. So otherwise you would have seen your working copy folder here. So if I click here, you can open the command palette like this. Otherwise, let me escape. If you press Control Shift P, that way also you can open the command palette. Now you don't see that authorize org, because when you click here, you directly see the authorize org because it's mainly used for that. This is like in general, if you search like auth org, why it's not coming. Let me try here, because if you search authorize an org, it should SFDX. I think we should have an SFDX installed. Let's try this without installing, see if it works. No folder open, Salesforce DX project. Okay, yeah, I think this is the problem. We don't have SFDX installed in our local system. Let's install that also first and then proceed with authorizing the org. Okay, now let's go ahead and install the CLI, SFDX CLI. Okay, so if we go to this one, SFDX CLI, you can go this one also, but ultimately it leads to that site only. So if you click on download package or install CLI for Windows, it will take you to the same screen as this one. So okay, let's go ahead and download for Windows 64, and once it is done, let's run this. Okay, verified publisher salesforce.com. Okay, it's Salesforce software only, just making sure. Okay, and okay, install. So once this is installed, like we have a extension pack installed in Visual Studio Code, so that will be able to communicate with the CLI, and that way we can connect to any Salesforce org from your Scratch org or any other local or the working copy in your machine. So that way you will be able to like you do most common activity, like retrieve from the source org, or check the difference between the source and your working copy, and also like deploy it to the source org, so something like that. So those are the three main activities that you can do with the help of CLI, of course. So once it is done, let's authorize an org and try to do that, and I can show you how you can manage your local working copy and push your changes to the source org or sandbox org, whichever you have authorized with your Visual Studio Code. Let's give it some time until this completes, and we should be ready to start Visual Studio Code again and see if it can connect. Okay, so it's almost done. Okay, completed. Let's close this. Hopefully it is done. Let me go ahead and open Visual Studio Code. Okay, here it is. Now let's go. Anyway, we have all the extension installed. Let me go to command palette and say authorize. Why it is not coming authorize? Let me open the folder. I have a recently opened one here, which is not coming up. Open editor. Now let's open folder. Select this folder. and let's see if we can connect. Open folder, Control Shift P. Or let's search this way. Show org browser. Okay, this is also one of the important tool, but let's focus on authorize. It should come up. I don't know why it is not coming. Org. Let's go to org browser and see. Here you can see the org browser comes up. No, it is not coming. Here is the terminal. This is like a command prompt. You can directly connect from Visual Studio. Let's see why this is not. Okay, I figured out why that authorize org is not coming. Let's go ahead and create a project, because if you don't create a project, you don't get those project specific commands in the visual, like in this settings. So first we have to create a project. So let's go ahead and create a project with manifest. We'll create a standard project, enter the name of the project and say okay, and I'll create a new folder for this and select the folder here. So here SFDX creating the project. Once it is done, then we will authorize and connect to an org. So this way you can create a project. Okay, project is created and it will also have some, yeah, this is how the project is created. You can see SFDX project login.salesforce.com and package. I think this is default settings I can use, I believe. Let's go ahead and connect, authorize an org. So here you can see no default org set, which was not coming, and it came now. When you click on it, you get all these options. So let's go ahead and authorize the org. Let's say production, because it's a dev org. I would say SF bits. Just give some name, and it's running. Salesforce CLI is running. It will open an Explorer. I will log in and what is the password? Okay, verification code. I think it will send it to my phone number. I'm just waiting for that verification code. Once that comes, I'll update it. Give me a moment. Alright, I got the code. Let me verify this. And that's it. Once you're successfully logged in, go back to your Visual Studio Code and you see that SF bits is created here. Now what you do, this is the main folder where all your classes, lightning web component triggers or whatever is saved. There is nothing as of now here. I'll create a new file, say test.cls. I'll create an apex class, just a dummy one. I would say dummy apex. So I'll save and let me try deploying it to see. You see this option, sfdx delete from project or sfdx deploy difference against or retrieve from the source org. Now we know for sure that this is not there in the source org. Let's deploy it to the source org. Okay, so once this is done, we'll go ahead and check in the actual org. Oh, this is failed to run. Let's see what is the error. Workspace as an extension recommended. What is the fatal error? JSON. Okay. Install all workspace as an extension recommendation. Let's see what is this recommended. Debugger. I don't think this is required. Let me go ahead and set up Apex. Apex class. Let's see if it has come. Sometimes it might throw an error, so that's why. What is that? We named it with test class. No, it's not there. Okay, now the issue here is, let me show you. It says, test class dot metadata dot xml file is not present. Since I just created it here, it also needs to have a metadata file like this, to be pushed to an org. So how I got this file, let me show you. Can you see one org browser here? So this is the one which is connected to this org which I just connected. I just downloaded this batch file. So what I'll do is, let me download all the Apex classes in this org. So it will all come to my project, which is working local copy, and from there it will also have a metadata file. I will copy that and just change the name to test.cls so that I can push using the same metadata file. I can push it to the org. Okay, retrieve this is successfully run. Now let's go back to the project, and you see all these files got downloaded, and you see this is our dummy class. There's nothing in it and there is no metadata file. So what I'll do is, I will copy this metadata, and before that, let me create a new file, test.cls.metadata. Anyway, let me check, copy the content and correct the name here. So the name would be class name. It is test. So that this is something like, is it rename? Yeah. Okay, let me copy this, and I have this one here. Let me rename this to the exact class name. What I'll do is paste. Let me say test metadata.xml. Okay, so this is how it is. It says cls hyphen metadata dot meta.xml, not metadata, sorry. Okay, so now we have metadata file ready. Let's push this one to org and see if we are able to deploy it. Oh man, no. Let's see what is the error. Deploy unexpected token. Yes, I think I have not copied the file properly. Did I? No. Okay, let me copy this. Copy, and how can I clone this? This all looks good. I don't know why I just copied. Okay, Okay, controller, site controller test. Let me see. Test.cls meta.xml. Why is it not? But there is a way with which you can directly create a metadata file for this. Why is it showing in red? I need to debug this. Is it because there is nothing in here? I will write something and copy this one. Very small. Okay, this is the class. Okay, I hope there is no error, and there is no file name that I can specify here. Hopefully should be able to push it. Now let me make sure if everything is fine, and here you go. Let me copy the method name. Here is the method. This is a test class. Okay, now let's create a new class and push it to the org. I figured out the issue, so I would say pushing apex new .cls. Okay, so this is the new apex, so let me just copy it to make sure that even the class name is also same as this apex name. So I'll just copy one simple apex class. I'm just doing it for example, so I'll just copied it, and now I'll rename it to the class name should be same as the file name, pushing apex new. Okay, I think method name should be fine because the class name is different. Okay, now I have to create a metadata file for this. What I'll do is I'll just copy this metadata and create a new file. What is the name? Pushing apex new .cls meta.xml. Okay, so it is sorted. Let me paste it. So it's all good. I have saved it. So now let's push this metadata deploy to source. This should go through, and once it is done, we'll go ahead and check in org whether it has been pushed. Yes, deploy to org successfully ran. Let's go to org. Where did it open? I think here. Yeah. Okay. So let's go ahead and see the apex class, list of apex class. What did I push? It is pushing apex class. Here you see the new apex class which we just pushed from the Visualforce has been added here. Okay, now I'll do something. We have this method. I will remove, edit this, and say nothing here. Deploy. Okay, let me save it and deploy to source. Okay, this should also go through. Oh, failed to run, required return type, missing return statement. Oh, I think my bad. I think let me remove this and save. Let's check the problem. Missing return statement. Okay, I have removed public static mail. Let me make it void. Okay, and hopefully I think it's good now. Why this is not going? Anyway, let me push it. Deploy to source org. This should, yes, I think it is completed. Now I'll go ahead and refresh and see what have I pushed. Okay, see, nothing is here. Whatever we did there and has been pushed to this org. And similarly, if you create some other class here, you can download it from here. If you go to org browser, so whichever org it is connected here, it will list all the objects here, and you either you know click one by one, like download here, download, or download all of the files here. So that's how that is the basics of how configuring the Visual Studio Code. Hope I was able to show you. This video is a value add for your Visual Studio installation to make it an integrated development environment. So if you like the video, please do subscribe and give a thumbs up. I'll make more such engaging videos. Hopefully this is kind of a little bit boring, because I was also exploring in between and fixing the errors and showing it to you. So next time it will be uber cool. So let's see how it goes. So see you in the next video, guys. Bye.